All right, we are so grateful. We are full of gratitude here today. Capri Maddox, Executive Director and General Manager of the LA Civil Rights Department. We are here um, to talk about giving people more money and more power in their city, the city of Los Angeles, the city that is represented by our very own Mayor Karen Bass, a former community organizer. Yes, give it up for my boss and our leader. I want to thank you all this morning for taking time to be here with us. I will tell you, the press community comes down here all the time to see what's up, usually to see what's wrong. But today we're going to show you what's up and what's good here in Watts in the 1-5. We are so grateful. Well, the Watts Empowerment Center, you all have opened your hearts and your homes to the community right here. And just if you haven't been inside, take your cameras inside too, because that doesn't always get shown on the nightly news, if you know what I mean. I think it's important to know there's so many leaders like Justin Mail that are here. It's been a tough week for this community, okay? You should know that one of their very own lost his life in a car accident. And I just wanted you to know we are not going to forget about Bobby Jones, a young person that was taken away from us far too soon. So for Bobby Jones, we want to do this today in your memory and to let you know that we're going to keep on keeping on. With us here this morning, we have the chair of the Civil Rights Committee for City Council, our very own Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez, who was hooping it up in the gym. I don't know, they said you were in the gym, and I know that means somebody lost a bet. But we also have representatives from the offices of Councilmember Bob Bloomingfield, my friend John Povich, and also we have a representative from Imelda Padilla's office, our newest council member representing the 6th Council District. I want you to know that as we thank the teams here, I need to let you know what we're here about. We have a program called the Repair Program, funded by City Council and the Budget Committee, which also has a member present here. We have Tim McOsker, who represents the 15th, and you will have a chance to hear from Councilmember Tim McOsker soon. But the program that we have is the Repair Program, and that stands for Reforms for Equity and Public Acknowledgement of Institutional Racism. We call it Repair for short, but it is the first participatory budget in the city of Los Angeles, and we want to be intentional to have $8.5 million go back to community organizations. And this, you have kids in here who are benefiting from the community organizations, but there are a lot of people that are standing on either side of this camera that benefited from community-based organizations, and I'm one of them, right? When my high school said it wasn't college material, I remember what the people in community centers just like this told me, what they poured into me, how they fed me after school, how they made sure that we had self-esteem and programs, and a lot of people came and did it on the cheap or free, but we say we're going to take care of the people who have been taking care of the people. And I just want to acknowledge members of our team, David Price, who runs race and equity for the LA Civil Rights Department. Where is David? He's a minister. He's a minister in his off time, but he ministers goodness of government every single day by running all of our equity programs. Clap it up for David Price. I want you to know, and look him up on Instagram, by the way. He just did a 30-question thing on Instagram, so go to @LA Civil Rights and check him out and hear his whole life story in 30 questions. But I'd also like to acknowledge someone that is on the ground making sure this happens day in, day out, Allison Wilhite. Thank you so much. She is using her skills, her talent, and we stole it from the CAO's office because the city's budget wasn't as important as the community's budget. So thank you again for your service, especially nights and weekends, and all those that have been on the ground with us. You all have decided where $8.5 million will be spent, and we are proud to announce those that have voted, those awardees in this space. This is the first of 3 entities. We are going to have another 6 communities step up to get these resources. But today, we are here to represent the first group. We call them the Cohort: Boyle Heights, Mission Hills, Panorama City, North Hills, and Southeast Los Angeles. And we are proud to stand here to let you know we're not going to stop with these 3 communities. We have other neighborhoods that we're going to go into. We have Arleta, Pacoima, Harbor Gateway, Wilmington Harbor City, Skid Row, Westlake, and starting tomorrow, I want to let you know we also have South Los Angeles, West Adams, Baldwin Village, Leimert Park, and of course Westlake. Starting tomorrow, the idea collection will begin for these communities as well. And so if you want to know more about how to get dollars from the city for community-based organizations, you can go to repair.lacity.org for more information. This is a direct investment by our leaders. And before we get to some of these winning proposals and to hear this good news, I wanted to bring up our council members. And so we'll start with the council member, Tim McOsker, who is the council member for the 15th Council District, also known as the beloved 1-5. Isn't that right, Marvion?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Tim McOsker, and yes, in fact, I'm the councilman of the 1-5. And it's important for us to explain. 1-5 is not just a cool tagline, and I am a cool tagline guy, but it has real meaning. We call it the 1-5 because we are one district, 5 beautiful, beloved communities. I represent San Pedro and Wilmington and Harbor City and Harbor Gateway and our beloved community of Watts. And I live in a world, and the 15th lives in a world where some of those communities can get left behind. And so it's important for us to remind ourselves every day it's the 1-5, one district, 5 beloved communities, no one left out. And that reminds us. That reminds us of our mission. And I'm saying all that because that's exactly what Repair is doing. What Repair is about is it reminds us every day that institutional racism is part of that acronym. Thank you. And we need to say it, and we need to know it, and we need to believe it, and we need to live it. We need to live for its correction. And we're not there yet. Every day we got to get closer and closer and closer. And one way to get closer is, again, to remind ourselves it's the 1-5 and it's Repair. And what we do is we set aside budget dollars and we say those communities that have struggled so hard to fight for resources will continue to fight for resources. And we need to fight for resources for them. But this is an opportunity to put money aside and say, you, community, you tell us what's valuable. What do you cherish? What do you care about? What do you want to support? And I'm so honored that today, here in the 1-5, we are honoring the community's commitment to kids and to public health. We have the mobile health van here. It's a fantastic program. It's actually just outside the 1-5, but it serves the 1-5 because health, clean air, clean water, good health, good mental health, after-school programs, those things don't know a jurisdictional difference. They don't know lines. They don't care about lines. What we care about are the kids that we serve together. And the Watts Empowerment Center is a place that I've been so honored to come to time and time and time again, because at every holiday, at every important event in the lives of people here in this community, you can come to the Watts Empowerment Center. And I've had great fun here. I've had great fun seeing equity be delivered, and I'm so appreciative of everything that Justin and Perry Crouch and Yang and all the great leaders in this community do here at the Watts Empowerment Center. And I have someone on my staff who's going to be leaving us on Saturday, a young Morehouse man who has reminded me time and time again that we've often said in Watts that it stands for, we are taught to survive. We are taught to survive. We're going to get rid of that. That's just like CD15. And the 1-5, the new thing is we are taught to succeed. We are taught to succeed. And the way to have our community succeed is exactly things like this. Making sure that we are putting resources into the things that we care about and the things that we love. And what do we love? We love our children, we love our families, and we are fighting for health. So I really, really thank the department. I thank you for the opportunity to have me here today. I am so glad that we are here in Watts, and I'm looking forward to moving down the freeway to other parts of the 1-5. Our next cohort for the idea setting is going to be Wilmington and Harbor City and Harbor Gateway. And those two are part of my beloved 1-5. So thank you very much, and God bless you all. Good job. Good job. And I'm going to bring up my dear friend, my partner in so much of this, a guy who really does lead the way and reminds me every day of the importance of why we're doing this work, Councilman Hugo Soto Martinez.
Well, good morning, everyone. Very, very happy to be here. There's a lot of folks to give thanks to, but obviously want to give thanks to Capri Maddox, the general manager of this department. A very new department, but already having so many positive effects in the community. And of course, my friend, Councilmember Tim McOsker. I could not be more proud to say that he represents this district. I grew up in this area. I'm very proud, Jordan Bulldog, class of 2001. And so we talk a lot about the community of Watts and him being here and giving so much of himself to this community and talking about what he did, what he said right now about equity is just another example of his leadership. And I could not be more proud to have him represent this part of the city and the rest of the 4 communities. And as the chair of the Civil Rights Committee, very happy to see this program roll out. A few months ago, we were here in the 1-5 to talk about the voting process. And now the voting process has concluded, and we know that the Watts Empowerment Center, it decided what we want in our community, what we want to see is more after-school programming. And that should not come as a surprise. I had the privilege of walking the space. I shot some basketball hoops. I only made 1 shot. I'm very rusty. Saw the music programming, the computer lab, things like that's what the community needs. And, I would say that it has changed quite a bit since I used to roam the streets. To see something like this was just so inspiring. I'm going to go back afterwards and maybe shoot some more hoops. But one thing I would say is that we have to make sure that this program is successful and that it's a model, right? $8.5 million is a good start. But if the community comes together, if they say, this is what we want, if it's successful and we can show the results of that, we can ask for more money because that is what we should have in the city. We should have the members of the city decide where that money goes. It's our taxpayer dollars. We know where the needs are in the community. And so let's rejoice today, but also look towards the future and say how we can expand this program and make it across the entire city of Los Angeles as much as possible. And I know we have a lot of colleagues that will also champion that in the years to come. And thank you so much, and I'll pass it back to General Manager Capri Maddox.
Right. Thank you so much, Councilmember Soto Martinez, for walking the talk and for being a part of government to make a difference on a regular basis. And then, of course, for Tim McOsker, you shouted out Marvion, and I don't know why Marvion's not standing up here with us. Marvion, come on up. You're leaving to go back to Morehouse. Marvion, I met Marvion when he was building a garden and making a difference, and now he's a Morehouse man, going to make a difference in a more substantial way. John Bovish, you are someone from council member. You should know that John is someone that's been a long time city haller, but he is someone in City Hall for a long time. But he is someone that we can call when we have a crazy idea and no money. And his boss happens to be the chair of the budget committee. And just the fact that you take my call is a blessing, and he's going to hopefully not give you a couple more spaces close to heaven. But I'm telling you the fact that you back these crazy ideas with resources, and I'm asking the community not to leave us out here hanging. So as the council member said, this is a pilot program. And if it works the way I know it's going to work and the way the community is going to make it work, we're going to be able to do this again. So with that and no pressure, John, come over here and take the mic and know that we are very grateful for you.
Thank you, Capri, so much. I'm very honored by that introduction by Capri. I'm going to be very brief because there's too many good, amazing people who have done a lot for the community up here that I am inspired and enlightened by. My name is John Poposh. I work for Councilmember Bob Blumenfield, as you heard, was the budget chair, but I feel like I'm coming home. David and I were discussing, I used to be a park director up the street at Augustus Hawkins. I used to come to citywide sports board meetings right next door at Imperial Courts, and I used to work in the 1-5 when I'll call it the 1-5, and I'm happy to be here today as a recreation director just down the street. And so for me to come from the West Valley, which my boss represents, is a no-brainer. You know, he had a scheduling conflict, so unfortunately we're not here, but to be here with Councilmember McOsker, Councilmember Soto Martinez, and all these wonderful people, I just want to quickly thank Capri Maddox and her staff, because it is amazing what they've accomplished as a new department in such a short time, and LA Repair is one of those achievements. We're a long way from the West Valley, but as Councilmember McOsker said, these kinds of issues don't know district lines. It doesn't know district lines, right? These issues. We have a community in the West Valley that sadly could compete with anywhere in the city on the poverty index in Canoga Park. And so we want to just make sure that this program is replicated throughout the entire city. And I promise to you, as a staffer for the budget chair of the city council, it will be. The last thing I just want to say is that celebrating right here in Watts at the Empowerment Center is a big deal, because it is one of the programs that's being kicked off. Drew University, you'll hear from them soon, Proyecto Pastoral, and East LA along Boyle Heights. We got to keep on going along with Panorama City, Mission Hills, and North Hills. So I can't wait to hear from our distinguished guests who are administering the program, and I look forward to those next steps that Capri talks about, working with her and her team at the Civil and Human Rights and Equity Department as we move together forward as a city across all district lines. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, John, and I really appreciate your commitment to even give us a heads up and a peek that possibly we'll be able to receive more funding for these programs. We are so grateful, and thank you for coming down to join us today. I'd like to just turn over the floor quickly to our beloved Director of Race and Equity in the City of Los Angeles, our very own David Price. And he's a Harvard-educated man, has a master's degree from Harvard. He could work anywhere. He could do anything. But he is using his time, his talents, and his energy to make a difference for Los Angeles and to give back to his community. He's from South Los Angeles and represents the community as well as the city family very well in everything he does with a wonderful team. David Price, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Los Angeles. Today is an extremely exciting day. Again, my name is David Price. I grew up here in this community. I went to high school right around the corner at Bourbon Day, graduated in 2014, and when I entered into city government, this is exactly the kinds of programs that I had hoped to work for, giving real people real power over real money. And today I am excited because I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the winners of our first cohort for our LA Repair participatory budgeting. And to begin, I would first like to introduce our winners from the Boyle Heights, or excuse me, introduce our winners from Watts Empowerment Center. Let's start right here in the 1-5 at Watts Empowerment Center. They will be receiving $363,000 to expand. Yeah. $363,000 to expand after-school programming for residents here in the Imperial Courts in Watts. And to give words for the Watts Empowerment Center, please welcome Lavelle, Yang, Grant, and Anne Marie Waters. Thank you.
Talk to him, Yang.
Man. I want to start off by thanking everyone for coming out. It ain't every day that we receive a grant like this. I mean, we filed with so many grants, me, Jess, and Miss Hanny. You know what I mean? And just to see this come true like this, it's a big old blessing. And I want to thank you guys again and again on behalf of Watts Empowerment Center and the Imperial Courts Housing Development. Talk to him, Miss Hanny. Let them know what's going on. I'm getting sentimental. Yeah.
My partner in crime, we do want to say thank you so much. Miss Capri Maddox said, crazy ideas with no budget. And I think probably per square foot, there's a lot of us here right now, and we do crazy things, crazy ideas with no budget. But this helps us so much. Currently, we're wrapping up 7 weeks of summer camp that we make extremely affordable to the families here, and we get very creative and we have a lot of fun. But thank you to CD15, which has helped us get buses so that we can take kids on field trips weekly, and we hope to do only more of that. These funds go to us being able to help kids after school come in, have a healthy meal, have somewhere where they can have help with homework, but also a great outlet. We do yoga, we have meditation times, we have sports, we do movie nights, we man-to-man program. We're doing girls leadership programs. We're just trying to put everything on the table so that every person in this community has the same available to them as other kids in other communities. And we always want to bring the best. Our CEO, Justin Mayo, never stops, always wanting to bring the best. So thank you so much for helping us make these dreams come true, and what we can do together in the next 10, 15 years, of what these kids will be able to accomplish because of gifts like this. Thank you.
Next, we'll have our winners from the Boyle Heights community. Proyecto Pastoral and the East LA Community Corporation will receive $775,000 to provide rental assistance and services for low-income tenants and families to prevent displacement. They'll be able to serve upwards of 100 families. Please put your hands together and welcome to this podium, Raquel Roman.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Raquel Roman. I'm the Executive Director of Proyecto Pastoral at Dolores Mission in the community of Boyle Heights. Feeling really blessed to be here with everyone today. It seems like there's just blessings in the air, and grateful to stand with all of you here today. Proyecto Pastoral has been in the community of Boyle Heights for 37 years. And although we are a multi-service organization, our primary goal has been to stand side by side in solidarity with our community residents in times of uncertainty. That is why we are thrilled and humbled to have been selected by our community for this LA Repair Zone Rental Assistance Grant. With this grant, we will help prevent individuals and families from being displaced and or becoming unhoused. Proyecto has served the unhoused community for 37 years by helping them get placed into housing. We are actually one of the highest in the continuum of care in placing people into permanent housing, but has also worked to prevent homelessness and to support people to remain housed. With this grant, we will continue to do the great work, and we thank everyone involved in the LA Repair Office and the Civil and Human Rights Office and Equity Department of the City of Los Angeles. Ahora lo voy a decir en español. Buenos días, mi nombre es Raquel Román, soy la directora ejecutiva de Proyecto Pastoral en la comunidad de Boyle Heights. Proyecto ha servido a la comunidad de Boyle Heights por 37 años y aunque seamos una organización de multiservicios, nuestra meta primaria es acompañar y estar en solidaridad con la comunidad en tiempos de incertidumbre. Por eso hoy estamos emocionados de haber sido seleccionado por nuestra comunidad para esta subvención de reparación de zona de Los Ángeles. Con esa subvención vamos a ayudar a individuos y familias a permanecer viviendo en sus hogares viviendo con dignidad. Gracias a todos los involucrados en la Oficina de Reparación de Los Ángeles y el Departamento de Derechos Humanos y Equidad de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles. Gracias.
We want to thank Assemblymember Mike Gibson for being represented here by Brother Dion. Brother Dion, it's so good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. And our final winner for this first cohort of LA Repair Participatory Budgeting is from the Southeast LA community. The Charles R. Jew University of Medicine and Sciences will receive approximately $1.1 million to operate a street medicine program to provide primary care, mental health, and case management services for up to 10,000 individuals and families here in Southeast LA. And so I would like to introduce you to a legend in this community, Dr. Cynthia Davis.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Davis. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Family Medicine at Charles Drew University of Medicine and Science. And I also serve as co-director of our CDU Kedron Street Medicine Program. On behalf of Dr. David Carlisle, president of Charles Drew University, Dr. Deborah Prothro Stitt, the dean of the College of Medicine, and the two other co-directors of the street medicine program, Dr. Alexander Rogers and Dr. Jerry Abraham. We want to thank again the residents of the Southeast LA Repair Zone who voted for our proposal to provide culturally responsive primary health care, preventive care, behavioral health, mental health, case management, and HIV screening services free of charge to all residents of the Southeast LA Repair Zone. We look forward to working with staff in the Civil, Human Rights, and Equity Department of the LA Civil Rights Department, as well as working with other public and private sector entities as we partner with in the Southeast LA Repair Zone as we conduct our community outreach. With CDU recently opening our university's 4-year medical education program in early July, the LA Repair Zone Initiative will create opportunities to engage our 60 new medical students in our community outreach services, including our LA Repair Zone outreach activities. CDU has an established 32-year history of providing mobile community outreach services, including primary health care, focusing on medically under-resourced and underserved communities by meeting and serving people where they live, work, play, go to school, and pray. And so we are very, very excited about this partnership with the City of Los Angeles and look forward to serving the citizens of the Southeast LA Repair Zone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Davis. And you can see real people with real solutions to make a real difference in Los Angeles, whether it's after school activities or thinking about helping people with the rent burdens and some of the challenges that are happening in those spaces, as well as street medical help. And I'm just going to say also, Dr. Davis, I want to thank you all, Kedron and CDU, for helping us when the world fell down. You all stood up, and you stood up with the City of Los Angeles. We were projected to lose 40,000 Angelinos due to COVID, and that number was cut in half in part by some of the work that you all did in the community. Nobody gave you any money. You did not need any authority. You just showed up, and that is what today is about, whether it's the Empowerment Center behind me or thinking about dealing with rent burden populations. You all have been showing up. No questions asked. You just knew there was a need. And I'm a member of First AME Church, and our motto is first to serve. But you all have truly been the first to serve the communities, and we commend you, and we're showing up with resources today. And we're going to ask also for the philanthropic community. The philanthropic community, you see these folks behind us. Don't forget them, because they are walking the talk. I want to yield the floor now and to thank everyone for being here, and to also see if we have any questions. We are open for questions. Thank you. Keep the faith. Keep the fight. Yes, sir.
Okay, Jorge Macias with La Opinión newspaper. This question is for everybody or the council members. And you're going to invest $8.5 million on these non-profit organizations. How do you respond when people is asking the city council members that the investment for the police is 119 more millions and total $1.9 billion? How do you describe that 1.9 billion and 85 million for the community that need education and all the programs that you were talking about?
Thank you so much for that question. That's a good question. I get what I can get, and I try not to get upset. But I'm going to yield the floor to see if one of our council members would like to address it. Would you like to?
Thank you very much for that question. So about well over 80% of the city's budget is in personnel, and a very large portion of our personnel budget is in public safety of all kinds. And it is important for us to acknowledge that we need to provide all of the basic services that the city needs: sidewalks, streets, curbs, gutters, public safety, fire protection. But at the same time, this is a start. This is a start for us to begin to move budget priorities to community activities and community-based organizations that can provide those things that are so important, like after-school programs and health care and tenant protections. And you will see this council time and time again moving incrementally money into those values that we all hold. I think my council colleague will agree, but what's important on the council floor is that we do this thing open and public. And we have these discussions out in the open, and we describe to folks that our budget values, our budget needs to show our values. And I think here what we're showing is a value in moving money out of the regular budget process and into something like repair. And I'm hoping that we're going to see more of this in the future, not just more of repair, which is a great program, but also more activities where we're supporting community groups that are doing the important work that you've heard here today.
I think, thank you, Councilmember McOsker. I would say, I would add to that I think what's more important is where is the direction of the budget going, right? I think we saw more investment this year in, we got raises to the folks doing the grid work. We got more money in rental assistance. The family source centers got more money than they ever have. We actually increased that. We got the repair money. I think the more important question is, where are we headed to? And I think the council member talked a lot, my colleague talked a lot about this. I think we're heading in the right direction, but more than anything, I think that, often the budget process is seen as something that is done internally, just with five members of the council. But this program is a great example of how we engage the community into the process. And so what I would say to the public is get involved with these programs that put power into your hands, and we'll see the budget that's more reflective of the needs of the community. So if we make this pilot program successful, I think we can prove to the city that we can do this on a much larger scale. And I think that will add to the direction of the city and where it's going right now.
And all these people care. They listening. That's the part. The whole thing, they listening now.
Dr. Perry, I can't hear you.
Thank you. I've been on this fight for years and years. I've been a community leader forever. Oh, I'm Dr. Perry Crouch. I was there to watch, ride, and the whole 9 yards. But these beautiful people right here, I've worked with them. They got good hearts. But the whole purpose of this administration, they listening to the community. A lot of times they come in with make-believe programs. They don't involve the community, and the community don't get involved, and it's fixed. Now they coming in asking the communities, what is it that you want? And this is a prime example of what the community wants. So I'm just asking everybody, please support Capri, please support our councilmen, and please get involved.
Thank you, Dr. Perry. Appreciate that. And I want to say things are fixed. They're fixed for the community, and we're going to support the folks that have been fixing things for a long time with little money and little assistance. So thank you so much, Dr. Perry, Barry Crouch. Any other questions? I think we're good. Okay. Oh, sure, sir.
Do you guys believe that you are going to end sooner or later, or about the institutional racism that is being for decades in Los Angeles with the new administration? Okay, because black and brown people have been suffering the most negative consequences of that institutional racism. What are you going to do specifically in order to bring justice for black and brown people?
Right. So very good question. You asked us what we're going to do to bring justice for black and brown people and deal with the institutional racism. You should know that you already know that the 9 communities that we're focusing on now with this $8.5 million are the communities that have been hardest hit by institutional racism. These are the communities where we had a number of COVID mortality. So we also know that these are the communities that are suffering from environmental hazards. These are also the communities that are dealing with disparities in education, food deserts. Anything that could go wrong goes wrong in these 9 repair zones. And if you look at the maps from the 1930s, redlining maps, these communities still pop up, and there are repair zones to this day. And so we wanted to be intentional to not just have one solution or one answer, but we're one of many solutions with the repair programs. And so that is why you see us giving resources to a variety of community needs, like childcare, like, thinking about rental assistance, and then of course, being intentional to make sure that we have resources for our medical needs, because that is an area, to be honest, that's an area where Black and brown communities have been done wrong the most. It's scary because people are still getting away with some of the wrongs that are happening in the medical community. So we wanted to stand up and undergird those folks in the medical community, but all the other spaces I mentioned as well. It's not only one. This didn't happen overnight. It took some time. And as Councilmember Soto Martinez stated, we're going in the right direction. And with the leadership of Councilmember Tim McOsker, who is actually on the budget committee, who represents this area, we are intentional about dealing with and addressing institutional racism in Los Angeles. Thank you.